All right. I've had a little bit of time to look at this and look through my little program and basically see where I went wrong. And I've also noticed, by the way, my apologies, the last few videos have actually been rather long, 40 minutes in one and 30 minutes in the other. So I'm still honestly going to try and keep these kind of short. So the first thing I did wrong is in here, I had this thing called, I for some reason typed FLT for float. There is no such function as FLT, it's actually float, right? So that right there, what that would do is the input function would take this string, throw it out to the screen, whatever I put in would then come back as a string, and then this guy converts it to a float. And so then contribution becomes a float. Minor problem, but that's all fixed. However, this guy down here was a little bit more challenging, and let me get to where that is. So, of course, by now I've shut down my course, so I'm going to go back in and get to the textbook. So I'm just on my way to the textbook. So links, and there's the bookshelf there, and if I'm lucky, it'll remember my perfect. Look at you. All right. So anyway, in this program, again, Lab 2C, what's going on right in that line? Well, in this line, what's happening is float is being taken and converted to a string with this format, .to f. And it's that f there that sort of tells the print function that this string that you've got, it's got a format mask in it. Now, this is a little kind of heavy for this early in the course, but you know what? It's going to happen again and again and again. So we may as well kind of go through the pain now. So what's happening is you don't see an F in front of the other strings, but you see an F in front of this string. This F is basically saying somewhere in this string, there is a format mask, and there is the format mask. Now, what's not obvious and what's going to kill you if you don't pay attention to it is, and this is what tripped me up, those are not parentheses. So parentheses are round brackets. Then we actually have something called square brackets, and I can't remember the name of those now, but anyway, square brackets. This, which I hope I can zoom in enough so that you can see, that is not a square bracket. It's not a round curved bracket. It's actually, it's, okay, it's called a brace, or sometimes some people will call it a curly bracket. Okay, so that's what that is. And so what's going on there is that this string doesn't have anything I want to format in it, so it's left alone. This string doesn't have anything I want to format in it, so it's left alone. But this string has got this dude in it. That dude is a float, and I want it to come out with 2 decimal spots. So what I've done then is I put this variable into these braces. I then slap on these characters, basically saying, hey, guess what? There's going to be a format string after this. I want a decimal for 2 spots, and it's a float. That's basically what that means in English. And then in order for this to work, I had to have an F right in front of that string. So I already have run it, of course, and tested it. This is the result right here. But let's go a little. Let's go cooler here. Let's make this thing a 4 decimal float. And now I'm going to go run it. And it's going to ask me for some questions. It's been a while, so the console had to reinitialize itself. But anyway, here we go. We got grant. I want to contribute 100. I am running. And you can see right there, I've got 100, but now with 4 decimal spots. Now that's of course not what I want. I want to return it back to 2, but that's how you get familiar with these this coding, guys. You basically just sit there and keep making adjustments and see, well, what will this do? What will this do? All right, so let me bring that down a bit. All right, so this completed program is what I'm going to put out into the content section for today. And the other thing I really do want to point out is I do have sort of an input, a processing, and then an output section, right? Now, the only thing I'm not super keen about is that I do have variables that are being defined here in my processing. And so in theory, I'd be tempted to make them up here and make them as empty strings. But at this point now, I'm just basically serving the method and not having the method serve me. So I'm just going to basically leave it at that. All right, so there's my sort of errata for the last lecture. And then the next time I post something, it's going to be talking about what you guys will do. And actually, there's one other thing I've got to tell you guys as well. All right.